Now, here's the most meaningful part of the rebrand. This is the part that actually came a little bit after I came up with the name and the colors and the logo, but this is the part that means the most to me. So I started naming my cakes after Welcome to this special mini-series of Southern Vibes where the stories are sweet, the roots run deep, and the culture is always cooking. I'm your host, Laina, baker, storyteller, and Southern girl through and through. In this mini-series, I'm inviting you into the kitchen and into my heart as I share the journey behind my cake business, a love letter to the Black women in my family. Each dessert I make carries a name, a memory, a legacy from my mother to my grandmother to my aunties. Their stories are baked into every bite, and now I'm serving them up for you. So whether you're here for the flavor, the family, or the feeling of home, pull up a seat, grab your favorite treat, and let the vibes roll. So in April of this year, my baking business went through a rebrand. I changed the name from Lay's Rum Cake to Southern Spice Cakes and Sweets. At first, Lay's Rum Cakes was just something I put together kind of quick because I was trying to pay some bills. I was out here hustling, okay? And at that time, I really only had rum cakes. I was offering two flavors, original butter cake and a pina colada. I started small, learned on the go, and grew as I learned more about entrepreneurship. But over time, I realized that I wanted something more. I realized that this business was like for real and it could grow. And I wanted to expand, not just my menu, but my mission. So, I'm making more than rum cakes now. I have cookies, I have peach cobblers, I have crown peach cobblers, I have brownies, sopapilla cheesecakes. And so I knew also that like my cakes would do really well in like church and youth events and other spaces where having rum in the name might be an issue or raise some eyebrows. Now don't get me wrong, I am very proud of my rum cakes. I think that rum adds a unique flavor and richness to the cakes. And technically, they don't really have enough rum in them to, to get somebody drunk. But I understand that for some folks, for religious, cultural, or even health reasons, it could be a concern, and I respect that. But also, the real shift wasn't just about the word rum. It was about identity. My name is Laina, not Lay. And I didn't really like when people call me Lay. Nobody's really called me that, growing up. And then also, people didn't know how to pronounce Lay. They called it loud. They called it layers. I mean, just all different kinds of words. And so, I was like, let me find something that's a little easier for people to pronounce. So, more so, I wanted a brand that felt more like me. One that honored my roots, my voice, and my story. I'm from Arlington, Texas, and my people are from a little town in East Texas called Athens. So the Southern is just deep, right? And I bake with spice. I use cinnamon, nutmeg, all the flavors that make a dessert feel warm and rich and soulful. I love cinnamon. And even my best-selling product, the cinnamon, is, I think, what sets it over the edge. So Southern Spice just made sense because I'm Southern. And I know that y'all can tell because y'all can hear it before you see me, right? To me, Southern Spice isn't just a name, it's a feeling. When I bake, I'm remembering everything my family taught me in the kitchen. I'm feeling closer to the ones who are no longer here. And so this rebrand really gave me the time and space to reflect on what really matters for me with my business and how I want to show up in the world. So I didn't just change the name, I changed a lot of things. I changed the logo. The logo is now a vanilla bean flower. And the symbol of that is as meaningful as it is beautiful. If you haven't seen a vanilla bean flower, you can see it on my logo. So the vanilla bean flower is an orchid, Vanilla planifolia. And it represents purity, love, transformation, and even spirituality, which I love. And so there, even some cultures see it as a divine gift, so like a symbol of happiness and connection. So it felt like the perfect emblem for my business, which is rooted in love, legacy, and flavor. And so the colors of Southern Spice, they tell a story too. Now, I actually didn't change the colors too much. I just kind of went a little different on some of the shades. But when I went through the rebrand, one of my friends who is in marketing was like, you should also look up the meanings of the colors. And when I looked up the colors that I had already chosen, it really made me feel like I had done a good job, because the magenta pink, it's not your typical bakery pink. I know a lot of bakeries use pink. I'm not even really a pink girl, but I do know that this deep magenta pink looks really good on my skin. But it is a color that stands for creativity, power, transformation, and confidence. Okay. The gold, or kind of looks a little yellow oranges also. You'll see this color actually in all of my ventures. It symbolizes motivation, success, joy, and warmth. And then we have the magenta purple. My favorite color. I have loved purple since I was a little girl. Purple represents royalty, inner wisdom, spirituality, and creative thinking. So it's a bold, deep color. And I feel like all three of those together represent me. They represent what I want my business to stand for. And they represent also what I want people to get when they try my desserts. Now, here's the most meaningful part of the rebrand. This is the part that actually came a little bit after I came up with the name and the colors and the logo, but this is the part that means the most to me. So I started naming my cakes after the women in my family. And there'll be another episode where I'll tell you more about why that ended up happening, but I will tell you that it began as a way to process the grief of losing my mother. She passed away in 2020. And so, of course, I had to name something after her, right? My mom loved desserts. But then I started thinking, well, I don't really have to stop there. You know, all these beautiful women, my mom, my aunts, my grandmothers, and even some of my cousins, they raised me, they shaped me, they poured into me. And so now I get to honor them with every bite of dessert that I sell. So, like I said, in the next few episodes, I'll share the names and the stories behind each one. Because this isn't just about dessert. It's about memory, healing, and the legacy of Black Southern women. And if you really want to know me beyond the baker and the professor and whatever else you might see me doing, this is a good place to be. Now, this is Life, Language, and Lyrics still, right? It's a mini series, but it's still the podcast. So I can't close without talking at least a little bit about music. Music is a huge part of how I bake also. I mean, and probably for you too that's watching. When you go in the kitchen and you cooking, you're going to probably have some music playing right now. I listen to podcasts and I listen to books on Audible and all those kind of things. But when I first start in the kitchen, my go-to is a playlist that I have that I call Down Home. And it is full of the songs that I grew up hearing around the house, at family functions. And it's the ones that we still dance and sing to when I go home now. So I'm going to be giving you some more of those songs attached to the names of the products and things like that. But for now, I'll just tell you about 3 or so that's on my list. Good Love by Johnny Taylor. So you're going to get some blues, some R&B, those kind of things. Maybe a little bit of country. So Johnny Taylor, Good Love. This is a family favorite. If you haven't heard of him, you should look it up. You know, it's an old school song, but the beat is real funky. And he's talking about good love, okay? Wildflower by the New Birth. I think that's just it's sung really pretty. This song, my dad played that one a lot actually. And Love TKO by Teddy Pendergrass is also on the list. So these are the songs that are playing while I'm mixing, measuring, and pouring love into every cake and product that I make. And that's probably why they taste so good, because I'm singing love songs to them. You know what? Thank you for sharing this moment with me, where sugar meets soul and stories rise like warm cake in the oven. All right, so until next time, keep the love slow, the oven warm, and the vibes southern.